Little Red Riding Hood. Fairy Tale by the Grimm brothers. Read by Ichirof. Once upon a time there was a sweet little girl. Everyone who saw her liked her, but most of all her grandmother, who did not know what to give her next. Once she gave her a little cap made of red velvet. Because it suited her so well, and she wanted to wear it all the time, she came to be known as Little Red Riding Hood. One day her mother said to her, "Come, Little Red Riding Hood, here is a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She is sick and weak, and they will do her well. Mind your manners and give her my greetings. Behave yourself on the way, and do not leave the path, or you might fall and break the bottle, and then there will be nothing for your sick grandmother." Little Red Riding Hood promised to obey her mother. The grandmother lived in the forest, a half-hour from the village. Little Red Riding Hood met a wolf in the forest. She did not know what a wicked animal he was, and was not afraid of him.
"Good day to you, Little Red Riding Hood."
"Good day to you, Wolf."
"Where are you going so early, Little Red Riding Hood?"
"To grandmother's."
"And what are you carrying under your apron?"
"Wine and cake. We baked it yesterday. Grandma is sick and weak. This could invigorate and strengthen her."
"Little Red Riding Hood, just where does your grandmother live?"
"Her house is a good quarter-hour from here in the woods, under the 3 large oak trees. There's a hedge there. You must know the place," said Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf thought to himself,
"She is young and tender. It will be a delicious bite. I like it better than the granny. You must be cunning if you want to grab both."
He walked with Little Red Riding Hood for a while, then said,
"Little Red Riding Hood, look at these beautiful flowers around us. Why don't you watch them? You don't seem to hear the birds singing sweetly at all. You just walk straight like you're going to school, and it's so cheerful in the woods."
Little Red Riding Hood looked around and saw the sun's rays breaking through the canopy. They seemed to be dancing. Beautiful flowers grew everywhere. She thought, "Grandma will be pleased if I bring her a bouquet of flowers. It's still early, I'll be there in time." And she turned off the path looking for flowers. Each time she picked one, she thought that she could see an even more beautiful one a little way off, and she ran after it, going further and further into the woods. But the wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house and knocked on the door. "Who's there?" asked Grandma.
"Little Red Riding Hood," replied the wolf. "I'm bringing you some cake and wine. Open the door for me."
"Just press the doorknob," cried out Grandmother. "I'm too weak to get up and open it for you." The wolf pressed the doorknob, the door opened, and, without saying a word, he approached Grandmother's bed and swallowed her. Then he put on her clothes and her hat on his head. He got into her bed and pulled the curtains. During that time, Little Red Riding Hood picked flowers in the woods, and when she gathered so many that she could no longer hold them in her hand, she remembered her grandmother again and headed for her house. When she arrived, she found, to her surprise, that the door was open, and when she entered the room, she had a strange feeling and thought, "Oh my God, why am I so scared? I usually like it at grandmother's." She said, "Good morning," but received no answer. Then she went to the bed and pulled the curtains. Grandma was lying in bed. Her hat was pulled down on her face, and she looked strange. "Oh, grandmother, what big ears you have!" All the better to hear you with. Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have! All the better to see you with. Oh, grandmother, what big hands you have! All the better to grab you with. Oh, grandmother, what a horribly big mouth you have!
All the better to eat you with.
And with that, the wolf jumped out of bed and swallowed poor little Red Riding Hood. As soon as he had finished his tasty bite, he climbed back into bed, fell asleep, and began to snore very loudly. A huntsman was just passing by. He thought to himself, "How loudly grandmother snores! I have to see if she's okay." He entered the room, and in the bed there lay the wolf. "Who would have thought that I would find you here, you old sinner?" said the hunter. "I have long sought you." He was already pointing his rifle at the wolf when it occurred to him that the wolf might have eaten the old lady and that he might still be able to save her. So he didn't shoot. Instead, he took a pair of scissors and cut open his belly. He had cut only a few strokes when he saw the red cap shining through. He cut a little more, and the girl jumped out and cried, "Oh, I was so frightened! It was so dark inside the wolf's belly." And then Grandma came out alive as well, but she could barely breathe. Little Red Riding Hood brought large stones and filled the wolf's entrails. When he woke up, the wolf wanted to jump and run, but the stones were so heavy that they pulled him down and he fell and remained dead on the spot. All three were satisfied. The hunter skinned the wolf and took it home. Grandma ate the cake, drank the wine, and recovered. Little Red Riding Hood said to herself, "As long as I live, I'll never get out of the path in the woods if Mother tells me not to."